Hey guys, Britt Johnson here. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. Before you do anything else, make sure you like this video and also subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on all social media platforms at I am Britt Johnson. Now, for those of you who have been watching me for quite some time, you know I am very black and white on most of my opinions. I either believe one thing or I believe the other thing, and I will be full force into going all in with what I believe. This is going to be the first time that I am actually stumped and I don't know what to do. Now, today's topic is going to be about trans athletes, transsexual athletes, and in particularly, the majority of what I'm going to be focusing on is at a high school level. Now, we all know the society's changed a lot, and not that there weren't people before that wanted to be trans, but the percentage of trans people were at like 0.4% of Americans prior, and now that number is rising because people are more open and society is getting more inclusive, which is amazing. With that comes a lot of questions. Now, in the Olympics and in the NCAA, they have rules that deal with what to do in the case of trans athletes. Now, I'm going to kind of read this verbatim because I don't want to say anything incorrectly. So for the NCAA policy on transgendered student athlete participation is this: a trans male, which is female to male, student athlete who has received a medical exemption for treatment with testosterone for diagnosed gender identity disorder or gender dysmorphia for purposes of NCAA competition may compete on a men's team but is no longer eligible to compete on a women's team without changing the team status to a mixed team. For trans females, which is male to female, student athletes being treated with testosterone suppression medication for gender identity disorder, gender dysmorphia, for purposes of NCAA competition may continue to compete on a men's team but may not compete on a women's team without changing it to a mixed team status until completing 1 calendar year of testosterone suppression treatment. Now, obviously this is because naturally men are, you know, just stronger and faster and whatever. Granted, obviously the fastest male in the world and the fastest female in the world, there's about a second difference in that, but there are going to be people that will be able to beat, you know, like a woman could beat those people. Like, I get that. Like, I get just because somebody is transgendered and doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily always beat the female. That's not what I'm saying at all. There are a bunch of badass females in the world and they're going to beat a lot of men. Actually, when I was in 6th grade, I raced my entire 6th grade class and I beat everybody, male or female. So I get that's not the case, but if you take the very best man and the very best female, the male is going to be stronger, the male is going to be faster. That's just biologics, right? That's just genetics. That's normal, okay? I get there's in between where guys are going to be better, or girls are going to be better than guys in certain stuff. So let's get that out of the way. This is a very tricky topic. So the NCAA and the Olympics both have rules. Their rules are not the same. They have different, you know, qualifications and policies. But high school is unregulated at this time, and it's kind of on a state-by-state thing, which I think is brought, you know, the issue that's happening now, which a bunch of parents at a few track meets have been upset because there are 2 transgendered females. They were born males and now they're females, and they have been killing it in the track meets, like literally just sweeping everybody by maybe a second. And the parents are upset because their, you know, daughters are losing all these races because of the fact that these transgendered females are, or male to female, are winning all the races. And in college, they, you know, you have to be removed, take your hormones and stuff like that for 1 calendar year, which will help, you know, take out some of the testosterone in your body. But in high school, that's not the case. You know, I don't know if these individuals have been taking them or not, but there's no regulation saying that these students have to take these medications for X amount of time before they can compete at, you know, the high school level. So with that comes tons of questions that I have, because again, I'm torn. Like, obviously children, high school kids, junior high kids, because nowadays kids are transitioning at a younger and younger age. They need to be active in school. I mean, statistics show that kids who also are student athletes on a 4.0 GPA scale are getting 0.2 to 0.6% or 0.6 GPA higher than an average student. It increases, you know, just education in general, your school experience. My little sisters right now are in high school, and they're debating, you know, competing professionally with dance or being on the pep team and cheer team at school. Absolutely, I said they should be on pep and cheer in school, because that's the only time that you can do that. And I think being a student athlete is one of the most rewarding experiences in school to go through. So these kids do need to compete, but I also believe that there needs to be a regulation with it. Just because a person's identifying as male or female doesn't mean that they should necessarily be competing if they're not, if they're just having an advantage for stuff in the first place. And I think regulation needs to come in. I don't know exactly what it is, because again, this is being transgendered isn't new, but the rate at which it's growing is very new, and a lot of people and a lot of schools and different things like that don't really know how to deal with it yet. Again, I'm torn, because these kids absolutely should be able to compete. They should not have their own league or whatever. I don't believe separate but equal ever worked, hence the Jim Crow era. We all know that does not work, so that's not something that we should be delving into anytime soon. But there has to be at some point something that happens. Right now, yes, it's only about 0.4% of the population that is trans, but again, this is going to increase, and we're going to get in a time where all of these younger kids now, the junior high and high school students that are coming out and deciding to switch their identity, or, you know, identify with female when they were born male, they're going to get to a collegiate level, and guess what's going to happen? A lot of these scholarships are going to go to them, because in high school they did not have to take these, it wasn't mandated that they took these drugs, and then they're going to get scholarships over other people who could have been just as deserving, you know? It's like, it's an issue, you know? Like, once they get to college, obviously they're going to have to take certain things, but they could, you know, go through high school not taking them just so they could get scholarships, and then once they get to college start taking them and not have been as great of an athlete as, you know, other people that could have got the scholarship over them, you know? So this is honestly, it's a issue in society. It's something that we can figure out, but I think, you know, policies just need to be put in place that are empathetic to everybody involved, because it is a serious issue. Again, I know I'm like kind of rambling about it because there's just so many pieces and so many questions I have. I actually tried to post on my Instagram, you know, I wanted to talk to a couple trans athletes before I did this video. I was unsuccessful on finding any that would speak with me. So you know, I don't know that side. I know, as you know, a female, I do know that most men are stronger than me. Even guys that are my same size are naturally going to be stronger than me. And even if they did say, yes, I want to become a female right now, if they're not taking, you know, the testosterone suppression hormones and pills, then they're going to beat me every time. So I think it needs to be regulated in high school. How we do that, I don't know, because again, the NCAA and the Olympics both have different ways that they do it, but they figured it out and made it work to where it's not something that, you know, is affecting the competition, and I do think competition is important. I think it is important for, you know, these even natural born females to compete against these guys, because you know what, when you end up whooping their butts, that's even a better thing for you. You know, it makes you work harder, it makes whatever. But I also understand biology, and I understand that naturally they're going to be a little faster and a little stronger than you until they start taking their testosterone. But this is a really long video, I'm sorry, but I actually have a lot of questions. I hope I didn't offend anybody in this video, because I'm really just looking for answers to my questions. So please let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. Thank you so much. Bye.